Phone's on silent.
Yep.
Yo,
Hey,
Hi.
how y'all doing?
you know, I just blathered on for 45, 50 minutes to Shondaland about the pitch, and now, I'll try to
Nice.
muster up some more energy.
Nice, nice.
I need to
So
move it.
is that your rain stick?
Shh, my murder. Well,
I love your Hellraiser shirt. That's
Yeah.
great.
That's awesome. Oh, I love those Cenobites. They look great.
Oh, oh my God.
so
That's funny.
this is drawn by, well, she was 5,
I think so.
by a 5-year-old.
I love that
Who,
5-year-old.
who saw the
That's
film
awesome.
and was like inspired.
I don't think her mom had her see the film. I found it on Etsy, and she would describe the movies. There's all kinds of them. I have an Alien one. I have a Children of the I have a Hellraiser. I have Evil Dead,
Nice.
The Thing,
and
Alien,
and I already said that, and Clowns,
Killer Clowns from Outer
Killer
Space.
Clowns from Outer Space.
Nice.
So
That's
Fantastic.
fantastic. I love that.
it's pretty cool. She had at the time, her 5-year-old daughter, and I think her 7-year-old daughter would draw different pictures of the things she would describe to him.
That's awesome.
I
fun.
love that. I love it. Awesome.
You can
All
find it
right.
on Etsy. It's rad.
And there's more beyond the ones that we've mentioned.
Yeah,
Plenty
I
more.
had to choose. I had to pick and choose. I was like, I couldn't have all of them.
I understand.
Yeah.
If only. If only. So awesome. Well, thank y'all for getting on here and joining us. Alyssa for your second time,
Yes.
Jessica for your first time. We are very excited to talk to y'all about Teen Wolf as a whole and this episode. And yeah, so shall we dive in?
I mean, sure. First, tell me how you guys are doing, and then you can tell me dive in.
I'm doing fantastic.
Okay. I didn't care about you. How are you guys?
We're okay. We're preparing for the big storm that's supposed to hit us. Supposed to get like 7 inches tomorrow or the next day or whatever.
Yeah, we
Not
expect to be snowed in for a little bit.
I mean, how is that different than anything else that I've been doing? At least, I mean, I don't go anywhere anyhow. Really,
That's true.
it's
Yeah,
colder.
I guess it's still just
Yeah.
yeah.
At least it's pretty.
True. For like
Yeah.
a
At the
day.
time. Yeah.
Will, why are you so offset? It's like you're in your grade school photo where you're looking
Yeah.
up
He's
to the
being,
side.
he's being professional. It's like sideways. It's like
I like that.
Oh,
Yeah.
because I've got a big monitor and there's nowhere to put the camera, and right there's the place that actually works.
I got you.
So also I'm gonna put up my poster and all that, so that's in the background
Okay.
for stuff. So yeah.
Maybe you could put up a green screen and then just superimpose a larger, translucent picture of yourself that sort of like superimposed thing that they always do behind you.
I like that.
I've been thinking about getting
Definitely do
into Twitch streaming, so I might have to get a
he's gonna put
a
a
thing.
Teen Wolf poster on more important interviews.
Okay, yeah,
Yeah.
gotcha. Get around
No,
it.
this has been down there for like a whole season, so it might never go
It
up.
has
Who
been.
knows? So
Alright.
Yeah, we'll see if it eventually goes up.
yeah,
I
we'll
guess
see.
What's the over under on
Yeah.
that one? Yeah,
I've never put mine up.
no, we have a lot of stuff we haven't put up though.
Yeah, it's true.
You run out of wall space.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
have a very big place and not many walls.
Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
That one
also.
came kind of from Teen Wolf because Dino got that for me as a gift for showing him horror movies.
That's awesome.
Very
Awesome.
fun.
It was pretty fun.
Yeah.
All right, I'm done asking how you guys are. You're cold and you're gonna be snowed in.
That
Golden
pretty much
Side.
covers it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like you said, we can't go out and do that much. So
Yeah,
The
nothing
answer's
super
short.
exciting.
I mean, wait, what state are you guys in?
Indiana.
Well, your guys' states are way scarier than even California. So yeah, I would not go anywhere near most of those people.
yeah, we are in a little we're in the county that's doing the least shitty
Okay, good.
Yeah.
in Indiana. And we're in the town in that county that's doing the least shitty.
Oh, you've good job.
So
Yeah.
because it's like where the university is and stuff,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know.
Yeah, so
All the
Um,
Tommies.
Yeah, so exactly. Yeah, we have like a locally owned co-op grocery store within walking distance of us, and I've never seen an unmasked person in there. Literally never.
And that's surprising because co-op stores often go all the way to the left where the right and the crazy left meet sometimes, right? Like, yeah.
Not this one.
It's Indiana
Thankfully.
co-op. I get it. It's not
Yeah.
LA co-op. Okay.
Yeah.
Right. It's
There you go.
it's a specific clientele, and they're all very like pro mask. So
Good. Well, that's nice to hear. All right. Okay.
All
All right. We
right.
can talk about Teen Wolf now.
Excellent. So, Jessica, how
Yes.
did you find yourself in Beacon Hills?
Through this one. She was editing on the show and we had been writing together as partners and stuff. So when the opportunity came up, we had been writing together. We wrote a script together, sent it in, and got hired together. And then, so that's how. Meal ticket right here, coattails.
You
Wrote some
Hey.
coattails.
do what you gotta do.
I got that coat at the Goodwill.
You do what you gotta do. That's excellent. Awesome.
Since you two also worked on Sleep When You're Dead in 1997 together, I have to ask, vampires or werewolves?
All right, let's not talk about Sleep When You're Dead. That was a cheap movie we made.
It was a long time ago. It was sort of like our own film school.
It was
In a way. Even though I went to film school, it was like extra
yeah,
credit.
but we got other people to
We got other people to pay for it.
pay for it. We
Yeah.
thought we were making something amazing. But yeah, I think, well, I mean, definitely Teen Wolf werewolves for sure.
Yeah.
Over most vampires. I mean, I have to, shout out RIP to, Anne Rice, who when I was 16, I couldn't, I'd walk through the hallways of my school, and if anyone would get in my way, I'd just like shove them with my book, just shove them. But yeah, no, I think there's a lot more vampire than werewolf out there, but not werewolves. I mean, if I'm gonna choose a side, I'd choose werewolves.
The
Though
right
it's
side I choose.
much more painful to change than
Mhm.
vampires. But then vampires can't go out during the day, and that's when most like places that sell sandwiches are open.
Solid point.
Yes, that is.
Like all the delivery apps now. That's sort of like maybe vampires are funding all of the startups that are like, trying to rush groceries to you within 20 minutes.
Oh, gotcha. That makes sense. Well, Alyssa, that was the correct answer. Jessica, what's your correct answer?
That's my correct answer. No, definitely. I think, the appeal of being a werewolf is just sort of like getting to go crazy and run around and trash stuff. With a vampire, you have to have long-term plans. You have to you open an IRA and yeah. It's like a werewolf, you're shredding your clothes, you're buying new clothes all the time, you're having a good time, having a wild party. Yeah. Vampire, you have to hang out with other vampires all the time. That just seems dreary.
Yeah, and I have to say, like, of the movies, like Dog Soldiers and American Werewolf in London, is there a vampire movie, not even talk the classics, that match those in my book of my favorite movies?
That's sort of just like fun, the fun factor.
Like
Yeah, I love
Near
The
Dark?
Hunger. That's depressing. Near Dark's amazing. We just
Yeah.
watched that recently.
Yeah.
But that's not like a fun way to be a vampire.
Hey,
No.
I had fun watching
Yeah,
Lost
good time.
Boys.
Or yeah, Lost
Yeah.
Boys.
Yeah,
Boys is
Lost
good.
Boys would probably be up there because that was a very influential movie in my young growing up phase.
Then your little sister's got to cry all the time. That's not good. I don't know.
Yeah, werewolves.
love that.
Werewolves.
Nice. Nice.
Bottom line, the
Or if
answer
you're my
is
mom.
werewolves.
Werewolf. A werewolf.
Werewolf?
A wolf.
Werewolf.
That's what his mom pronounces werewolf. So when I was on Teen Wolf, Teen Wolf, she'd be like Teen Wolf, and I'm like, no. So our friend now has a cute little comic called Werewolves, and it's about dogs. They're kind of
Aw.
like dogs that are werewolves, and it's very cute. And I thought she was just mispronouncing it, and I had to like really tamp down not to make fun of her,
Oh,
because that's mean. But no, she was pronouncing it properly.
Werewolf.
okay. Well, you know how like Joe says we're wolf. So
Werewolf. That's right.
yeah. Don't know how that happens, but sure.
Werewolves eat
Werewolves.
bagels, right?
Exactly. They eat bagels. Awesome. So I know y'all have written together before, but what was it like writing this episode together?
It's interesting because it all starts in the room. So it's not just us writing. Like when you're breaking the series, you're in a room with, other people, and people are throwing around ideas. Some of your ideas you get to use in your own episode. Sometimes, you don't get as many ideas in your own episode, but so starting from there, you're already sort of like working with a lot of other people and getting getting ideas down. And then for Teen Wolf, we would always start with a pretty significant outline. I think the outline ended up being like 15 pages or
15
something like
pages.
that.
Wow.
So you take this 15-page outline and then we split it up between, it's like you take this scene, I'll take that scene, you take this act, I'll take that act. And then we'd write our own bits, hand them off to the other person, see if it all sort of lined up. And that's kind of how we would write our own stuff anyway. You'd sort of like come up with an idea, pitch some stuff, split it up, and come back together. So
Yeah, we always wrote with another guy too. In fact, one of the first things we ever wrote with him, now an independent, a producer just got excited about. I turned it into a pilot last year. It was a movie that we wrote years ago, but we all wrote as 3, so it was kind of like being in a mini room all the time.
Nice.
Anyhow, you had to compromise and
Yeah.
you had to throw ideas around and stuff. So I don't think it changed much. Like you and I writing was kind of like how we always wrote together. Like I was right and you were wrong. And
because when you're writing with 2 people, it's always the argument, and like you have to argue. When you write with 3, then it's a democracy, and we would just be like, all right, it's a vote, and whoever won.
But we lived
So
in-
I was going to say, so on Teen Wolf, the vote is Jeff.
we lived under authoritarian government.
We can argue with each other, but then you turn it in, and then it's like
It's just Jeff.
that is just Jeff. Yeah.
Yeah.
So which is it's good in its own way.
Yep.
Yeah, I was actually going to ask, what kind of feedback did you guys get from Jeff when you were writing?
All positive. He loved everything that we did. He said we were the greatest of all time. Now, it's interesting because some of the feedback is on the writing itself, but a lot of stuff happened. We started writing that season before all the casting had been finalized. So we had scenes, with
Cora
certain
was
characters.
not in our script.
Yeah, like we had. I think Erica and Boyd were still like going to be all the way through.
So basically, Erica, we couldn't get her back. Like she wouldn't come back. The actress had other commitments or decided she didn't want to do it or whatever the hell she did.
We didn't know. Yeah.
I don't care if I'll spill tea all over the.
No, I'm
place.
just saying, like
She didn't come back.
we weren't in.
And
that conversation.
then no, we weren't. We were because we were already out of the room by that point.
Yeah.
And then I came back to edit because I edited this season. I edited this episode actually. So like we got our script production draft back and we were like, who the hell is Cora? Like I mean, I think we'd been on a trip or something too. Like we
I
were
think so,
out of
yeah.
town. So and Cora had been a character that I think Jeff like had to make up,
Yeah. 'Cause we turned in our script, I think, in October, and the production draft was like December or something like that. So within that short span of time, a whole new person moved to Beacon Hills and got involved. in all these things,
Yeah, that was a tricky thing. I mean, Will's definitely seen that happen on Teen Wolf where things come down to the wire on negotiations for actors and stuff. It's real people in their real lives and sometimes it doesn't go your way. Because I don't think there was no intention ever to not have Erica. We had written her in through our season.
Yeah.
And so all of a sudden I'm Cora and I'm like, I don't know who you are.
Yeah.
So you guys were like, we leave you alone for 5 minutes.
My cousin Oliver's here.
How dare cousin.
That would never happen with vampires. Let's just say.
And I don't, I mean, she doesn't have a lot to do in our script, but it was because Erica didn't feature heavily in our script, but it was all of a sudden they had to like give a little bit more to Cora.
Yeah.
Because her storyline, she was living with, Derek, and that complicated the Isaac living there. Because before it was just Derek and Isaac.
Mm.
And so when, Derek kicks him out, it's just Derek alone, but now he has Cora kind of hiding in the side. So.
Yeah. And just going back to the feedback question, I think a lot of it gets worked out in the outline beforehand. So you're pretty much know what you're getting into. You'd have to really mess up to do,
I remember the one thing that Jeff had wanted us to, when we sent in the draft, he wanted to come up with something that could collapse the Deucalion Kane
Right.
thing. I remember that was something that we talked about.
Yeah.
Jeff had really wanted something that Deucalion could be doing, a bit of business.
Mhm.
Mm.
I think it ties in with the idea of like the parts making up the whole, like your alpha pack.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, if it worked or not, I don't know. But like
I love it. I liked editing. I like when he flicks his
Yeah.
cane. Can we talk about that scene for a second? I know we're here about talking about writers, but let's just talk about that scene since we're talking about Deucalion. No, it'll come at a later question. Then I will talk about the directing Tim Andrew about that scene. It cracks me up. But anyway,
Awesome.
but yeah. So I mean, that's the kind of thing that we got back from Jeff, I think.
So
Nice.
were you able to be on set at all for the filming of the episode?
Yes.
Yep.
Both of us. Yeah. That was.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah. I remember. The first day of shooting, I think, was like the
Motorcycle.
motorcycle in the hallway.
Yeah.
Oh,
So that's kind of a fun thing to go. And you have the stunt guy flipping off, and he's like, "Do you want me to flip again? I can flip again." And he just flip. Like no, we got it. We did it 20 times. I think we got the flip. You can stop flipping now.
I know they had like a second unit doing like there's a couple cams they attached to the motorcycle.
Mhm.
And then they had that whole thing with the stunt guy. My favorite thing about that day, and I unfortunately didn't get a picture with Daniel that day, but I realized that I was dressed in black tight jeans, a white loose t-shirt, and a stripy gray sweater. I was dressed like Isaac.
It was really fun.
I have a picture. I don't know where it is, unfortunately, but I have a picture with me and the stunt guy who's dressed like Daniel. But I didn't. Daniel had left for the day, and I just looked down. I'm like, okay, so I dress like a teenage boy in Beacon Hills. That's what I dress like.
You dress like a Teen Wolf.
Fair enough.
There you
I
go.
think
He's
this
very
is probably, he was definitely one of the more fashion conscious
Yes.
teen wolves. He wore scarves, he knew how to accessorize.
Scarves.
absolutely.
He could be
Well,
dapper.
We would talk about it when we have our souvenirs.
Well, I was gonna say I'm dressed like an alpha.
Yeah, moody alpha. You can talk about it.
So this is actually one of Derek's shirts.
It's one of my hairs on it.
That's
Oh,
awesome.
nice.
Very
I
nice.
love that.
Yeah, pulled it out of the closet.
Oh, fun.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's good. But I remember, showing up and we were doing the setups and stuff like that. And Tim, the director, he knew it was my first episode. Your first episode. He's like, "So is this what you imagined when you wrote the script?" And I was like, "Oh, I didn't think the window would be there."
But
It's good times.
so there is one story about being on set for this is my hands are actually featured in this episode.
Ooh.
Oh.
So we were shooting outside in a ravine, and it was in January or something.
Something like that.
It was cold as fuck, and it was because LA is not the coldest, but you actually get down into ravines and things. And I think it was and even here it's going to get into the 40s and
Maybe like 48 tonight.
40. It's supposed to get down to 41, and it gets into the 30s, and it was getting in the low 30s that night. Why that matters is that I show up on set to watch, and Tim's like, "Oh, hey, do you want to kill Mr. Harris?" And I'm like, "Yes." For many reasons, by the way. And so we didn't have time to put me in the wetsuit that I think the stand-in was wearing. He was going to do it. So I'm just in my black coat. It's a waterproof coat, but it doesn't matter. And I'm standing behind the tree. Mr. Harris isn't in the front, right? We're just doing a scene with my hands, and I'm turning the garage. And so, we're trying to get the gloves to cover up my skin so we can't see who it
Because you're
is.
so pale.
It's a
We don't
ghost.
wanna-
It's a mummy.
We don't want to give away how pale the Duroc is, who's also pale. But anyway, but so the two special effects guys are standing there, and they didn't have to set up a whole rain tower for this particular shot. They just have two hoses that are just pouring water supposedly on my hands, but on me. Like I am just being, And there was something about like we couldn't get it to look like it was tight enough, but the way it was set up. So we did it for a while just to get that real like,
Yeah.
you know,
A kill shot.
So she's saying she suffered for her art. Is what she's, is what she's saying.
and we also, so I literally and figuratively killed
Mr. Harris.
Mr. Harris.
Nice.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, that's
I love
awesome.
that.
I did not know that was you turning the garrote. That's awesome.
That's my talents, my hand model talents. I think I might have hand modeled somewhere else in the show somewhere
Nice.
too.
Are you one of the hands coming up out of the dirt?
No,
Oh,
I was
okay.
not a dirt.
No, I think it's like a ring on you or something. I can't remember.
Yeah, I don't remember where it was. It was some second unit day, which we didn't even have anybody. You know, it was Russell running around with a camera. Will.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's our second unit. So it's good.
That was fun though. I mean, it was super fun. I was so cold, but it was really fun. I mean, I always like going to
Yeah,
set.
you're pretty excited that day for sure.
Yeah, I hate getting up in the morning, but being on set is worth it. Mostly for the
Nice.
snack, but that was really fun.
Also
Good
for
prep
other
service.
things, probably.
Yes.
But
Yes.
who was your favorite character to write on the show?
Well, for this episode, for sure.
Deucalion.
Oh my god.
That's great.
Love it.
That's our tribute to Michael Hogan there doing the Deucalion. Yeah, he was the most fun. He got the big operatic speeches.
Gideon's great. I mean, he's just like, he's so fun to watch.
Yeah.
Super nice guy too. Just
He's got a great voice.
got a great voice.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. What's not to love?
Yeah.
But that scene in particular was really,
It's like writing the villain speech. That's always kind of fun. You know, that's sort of like, you know, one of the things you look forward to is like, all right, we're gonna do this big speech.
yeah.
You know, so that's pretty fun.
And then Tim made it bigger. So I remember getting the footage, and I don't think I was on set that day because I was also,
Yeah,
as I
that's
said,
sad.
I was also editing while we went. And so when I got the footage and Deucalion's giving the final, you know, I'm the destroyer of worlds speech in front of the window, all of a sudden there's lightning.
I don't remember that in our
And
draft.
there wasn't, and his
the
glasses
glasses
cracked,
cracking.
which is hilarious. I
Right.
think it's really funny,
Yeah.
but I was like, it was a clear day outside if you look out the windows. And I'm like, Tim, what is that? And he's like, I don't know. I just thought it would be dramatic. And I'm like, I mean, I kind of love it.
Yeah.
Deucalion's power controls the weather all of a sudden. But, you know, if any really hardcore Teen Wolf fan out there was like, you know, what did that say about Deucalion's power? Well, that says more about the director, Tim Andrew, than it says about Deucalion.
It's Tim Andrews' power, not
Tim Andrew, definitely.
Yeah.
I loved that scene though. I loved writing it. I loved editing it.
Yeah.
I have to say the music, and I love what Dino did. And
and Derek being impaled for, you know, an entire
An
episode.
entire episode.
that actually was a change from the outline.
Yeah.
Yeah, because the
Sure.
outline, Deucalion just comes in and talks to him. And I think that
Oh.
just wasn't visceral enough.
Yeah, in the original draft, actually, like Deucalion is there, and Derek comes in and like starts fighting him right away. There wasn't like the big entrance. There
Well,
wasn't
Korra
the-
wasn't there.
Yeah,
of
Korra
course.
wasn't there, all that kind of stuff. So that, I mean, the gist of it was there. The sort of like the offer and the sort of, you know, the
Yeah.
go kill your pack and become like me, but the specifics of it.
Yeah,
I
but
think-
him being impaled, which I loved doing. I remember I loved editing the blood drips. That
Yeah.
it was so gruesome. And Felicia was so great, and Kali, she was so good, just being all. And then her fight scene before she impales him was really fun, and that's Caitlin. Have you guys ever interviewed Caitlin?
Not yet. We're hoping to get
We're
her.
going to.
Yeah.
We're going to
Yeah.
try.
And God, she must have been like 19 years old then. I mean, I don't know how old Caitlin was, but you know, she was such a great stunt woman. But Felicia did a great job of matching her. I thought
Yeah.
Felicia was really good because sometimes, you know, you can really tell the difference between the actor and the stunt person, but I think they really blended well because Felicia really gave it her all. So when Caitlin did all the cool
Yeah.
stuff, it really matched it with her toenails. Remember, she had that must have been Christian's pitch. I think that was Christian's pitch.
you know, I know it wasn't mine. I know it wasn't mine.
Jessica takes no responsibility.
No,
For
for
Cully.
those scary, scary, grody toenails.
Uh,
That's a
I
scary.
know whenever she fights with them, I'm like, but it's so unsanitary. Like
Right.
I know that like they're wounds and that's what you're really concerned about, but I'm really concerned about just the cleanliness, you guys.
Yeah, me too. No, it's not. We're such a pretty, pretty woman, and then she has this grody thing.
Yeah, Manny Petty Grody. I think especially Manny Petty Grody.
Yeah. I mean, there's one other person. I mean, I really enjoyed writing the there's a scene that was different than the outline when we got to the script, and but that's part of things that have to change for production and stuff. Is it used to be in a library with Scott and Isaac, remember, when they're talking to Lydia and Styles, and Lydia tells them to talk to the sheriff because
Yeah,
and
so it
it's-
was like a group meeting kind of situation where everyone's
Oh.
together.
Okay.
Yeah, you can't, not every scene can be a group meeting, so.
yeah, and it changed to just a walking scene with, you know, Lydia and Styles, and writing for Styles. I mean, writing for Styles is always super fun anyhow. It's definitely Jeff's favorite part. But about the child sacrifices.
Every day's dead baby day. Yay.
Such a good one. Oh my god.
Thank you.
That's right up my alley. Yeah.
Dead Baby Alley. She has her shop.
Oh my God. I would shop there. It'd be interesting.
Oh my god.
Wow.
You just have that on hand just in case this joke came up because that was really smooth.
Or does it come up that often?
It hangs up on her other wall.
I have showed it more than once in a pitch, maybe. I don't know why, but yeah.
Shonda was like, "This is a great pitch. Question: What's with the dolls? Is that part of the show?" No.
Yeah.
No, I just brought this.
this is just what I have. I carry it around.
Did you guys already know that Jennifer was the Drock at this point when writing?
Yeah, I think
We
we
did.
knew from the beginning.
We did.
Mm.
That was always the plan. So it was fun to write her being sort of like a, you know, a sort of ingenue, you know, sort
Yeah.
of a like, oh, I'm scared of you, Derek. You know, that was great.
Yeah, trying to do the misdirect, you know, and not, you wanted to, like when you go back to be able to see what she was doing, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like that was kind of the fun, tricky bits. I don't think we knew exactly how everything was gonna shake out, but yeah, we did know, you know, from the beginning that she was the draw.
Nice.
She was a dark oak, man.
Yep.
But
So
she's a
you-
brunette.
You touched on this a little bit, but Alyssa, you wrote a total of 4 Teen Wolf episodes, the first being Unleashed, which you guys co-wrote. How is the writing process different when you're working with a co-writer versus when you're writing the script just by yourself?
When you write by yourself, you have to write more words.
That checks out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I always like, I mean, a lot of my TV career has been writing by myself. But I like to co-write. Actually, I find it, I don't know, you have somebody to bounce ideas off of. There's a little bit of safety in that, you know, you can blame him.
Mhm.
So that's
He
fine.
just nodded. He was like, yeah.
I mean, everything, whether we're working together or not, like we read each other's stuff. all
Yeah,
the
I mean,
time
that's
every
for
night,
sure.
so-
Like I always have him read my stuff and he read, you know, I read his stuff too.
And I think every writer has that. They have like their sort of, you know, sounding board that they go to.
Yeah.
You know, not for everything, but is this working? You know, what do you think of this? That kind of stuff. You always,
Yeah, it's a little,
everyone has that.
it's a little lonelier, I think, just to write by yourself. You're just a little bit more in your head all the time, which, you know, some people really dig. I really like writing rooms. I miss them in person.
I think also when you get stuck, you have someone like, here, unstick this, you know, you do it a little bit.
Yeah, for sure.
It really helps to not get stuck on things.
Yeah, so I mean, both ways work. But you know, I don't know if they're, but I do like writing. I like
Yep.
writing with people.
You're probably faster alone though, honestly.
Well, I'm faster than
Yeah.
you are.
He writes faster than a lot of people, I
Yeah,
would say, for sure.
it's just the wrist flexibility. I think it's really important. It's important to lubricate the wrists a lot. And then
I don't know about that.
that's my tip for you guys. A lot of
Good tip.
caffeine, maybe some cocaine. I'm just, these are not
That's
things to.
It's how Tarantino does it, right?
There's a reason Stephen King wrote 5,000 books in the 70s and 80s. Like,
Yeah.
there's a reason. I'm
Yeah.
sad that I missed the whole. I'm in some ways sad that I missed the cocaine era. Some ways I'm not sad I missed the cocaine era. In most ways I'm not sad, but it's a little bit of that. I guess I could be in the Adderall era if I wanted to be, but that just
Sure.
seemed. I don't know. I've seen the effects of that, and I don't think I want to be a part of that either. So, I mean, unless you need it. I mean, talking for people who just use it
Recreationally.
Yes.
Yeah. Not for people who use it for.
Its actual use.
Actually.
Yeah.
You do you. I'm not here to judge.
Yeah.
This isn't focused on the family.
He's focused on the pack. This is
Yes.
Yeah.
So the Teen Wolf movie has been announced. What would you guys like to see happen in it?
I want to see Melissa Ponzio breakdancing.
Yes.
That's what I want to see.
So
I'd like to see that.
Oh my
Will,
God.
is this happening or
No comment. No comment.
Oh yeah, I forgot. I kind of forgotten that Melissa and JR. What are their
Argent.
Argent and
still
Yeah.
Melissa?
Yeah, still.
Melissa. Yeah, of course. I forgot they were. Here's the thing. I know a little bit about the movie because Jeff's a big blabbermouth, so I'm not going to talk about the things that I know, but the things that I haven't talked to him about. I'd like to see how the characters have grown up and sort of how they're dealing with life. I think I would like to see some of those relationships to be done with, because those were, a lot of times in movies and TV, your first love is your only love. I mean, that is ridiculous. It happens with some people, but most of the time, you go through people, and you grow and you change. And I'd like to see how, these characters have grown and changed. Malia would be really interesting to see how she's grown and changed and sort
Yes,
of her
absolutely.
relationship. And so, but I want Melissa and Argent to be still together. I don't want them to have grown and changed too much, because that was very, very fun. That whole thing. That was really, those are two of my favorite actors and two of my favorite people. And that I would
Are you saying
definitely.
actors aren't people? You mean characters and people?
I mean, I didn't say it. You said it. Yeah, that's what I'd like to see. I mean, I think it would be super fun. I see some werewolf fighting. I want to see some glowing eyes, that stuff too. But I just think I think it's a great opportunity to spend just a little more time with these characters, but to see how they've evolved. And, I'm sure Will and Jeff have brought all that to the table.
Keep our fingers crossed.
Will's
Yeah.
face.
Breakdancing. I'm just, I'll be very disappointed. Well, there's no breakdancing.
Jessic's putting a line in the sand with the breakdancing here. So,
I could also go with a Bollywood style musical
Ooh,
number.
okay, yeah, sure. Cut in.
I'd be down with just breaking the mold completely. Yeah, Bollywood musical. I love it. So, Jessic, did your experience with Kitten Rescue helping wayward cats help prepare you for working with wayward werewolves?
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, I think we all in the rescue community can identify with these kids like Isaac and Malia, who are coming in from the cold. They don't have a pack of their own. They just need to find somewhere. So yeah, rescuing animals for sure. Like humans are animals. You just need rescuing people all over the place.
That's very true.
Also, one time we had those foster kittens, and we had to give them a bath because they had come out of they were filthy and oily, kind of on the streets. And while we were bathing one of these fluffy kittens, I accidentally, like she was struggling and I accidentally bonked her head a little bit on the faucet and she bit down on my finger and gave me, kind of like turning into a werewolf, gave me cat scratch fever.
Oh,
Okay.
She gave me the
Gave
bite.
you the bite.
And all it does though is makes your lymph node on that side swell up and makes your hips ache. At least for me. Some people it can be worse. Some people don't have anything. The good news is next time some stupid kitten bites me, I'm immune.
Oh, hey. All
Love
right.
you, kittens.
Immune to the bite.
It was kind of my fault, but seriously. So I did get the bite. Yeah.
Nice. Nice.
So, as you said, you killed Mr. Harris in the episode. And it's revealed before he dies that he was working with the Drock. How do you think that they crossed paths? Like, did you have a backstory there on how they were working together?
There was a backstory. I mean, it's been a while. I know we talked through a few different things. I think the idea was, if I'm recalling correctly, that she had, there was all this lore going on in Beacon Hills that we sort of learn about later with the tree and calling all these people there. So he was sort of like a target for her before she came. Like I think she had done a little recon of the place. I think we had sort of worked out and identified him as a target of someone who was going to help her.
I mean, he was always a villain, right? We were never
Yeah.
trying to tell the story of Mr. Harris being like a tough but understanding teacher. That was never his path. He was just a dick and there to make Stiles' life and Scott's life, but mostly Stiles' life really hard.
Yeah.
And I think we talked about how she probably had targeted him as someone who wanted sort of like power, but we did have some sort of whole backstory with him that I just don't think we ever played out.
Yeah.
It's really kind of hard to remember because
We didn't get to explore it, right? He dies in episode 4, so we didn't,
yeah, but yeah, it was definitely a thing we discussed and knew that, she came as a teacher, so she had access and probably had either, I don't think it was a blackmail situation. I think it was more of a situation of like, I can offer you this power
Yeah.
and these things and you'll, in return.
he probably wrote her, recommendation letter kind of thing,
Yeah.
stuff.
So he didn't have to figure out which of his students were virgins.
Do not get me started on the virgin storyline. That'll always be something I will be.
I think we did a pretty forward thinking.
We ended up, but it took some discussion.
There
with people
was
in the
some
room.
there was some sauciness in the writer's room about that. Some stern
that
words.
sounds like tea, and I feel like someone here made a comment about
Well,
spilling.
It was one of those situations where I find the concept of virginity to be super retro and shitty. Like what
medieval, pre-medieval.
it's pretty, yeah. Like who cares? And also, what does it mean? And what does it mean if you're a gay woman or a gay man or a queer person of any type? Like, what is losing your virginity means?
Mhm.
So we had all these discussions whether some people in the room wanted to have them or not. And we ended up doing a fairly decent job with it, but I personally never wanted to go down the path, I will just say. But it ended up being okay. And it ended up being a very funny scene, kind of with Stiles.
Yeah.
So I mean, with the Danny thing was great.
Yeah.
So it
So
ended up,
great.
Very good.
That is one of my favorite scenes.
yeah.
Yeah.
Quite good.
Just-
Yeah. So it ended up working out that it added to some humor,
Yeah.
but when it comes to a real discussion of that, I just, I would send people to smarter people on the internet who talk about those things and how retro they are.
But I feel like we definitely were advocating to not go down the virginity thing, and I think that helps bring out some of the other things too, because it could have just remained virgins and that could have been the story, and I think it was nice that it didn't.
Yeah.
So
It went into other things to add to the mystery.
Thank God, because they would have had to murder like 48 virgins.
right.
Because so many people die this season.
yeah.
Oh my
true.
God.
The body count is really high this season.
I feel like
Hi.
you think like, why do people still live there? But the turnover must make real estate so cheap you just can't.
We
replace it.
That is our
we've
theory.
consistently made that
Yes.
joke about how good the real estate market is.
The
Yeah.
prices are just so low
Yeah.
you can't
Yeah.
leave because
Or single
like-
mom can have like a 3-story house. Yes,
Yeah.
girl, live your
Yeah.
best life.
What you do, if you have your eye on a property, you just wait until,
They're gonna
They're-
get murdered, and then it's just like
Yeah.
Exactly.
I don't go to the real estate section. I just go to the obits. That's how I know where I'm at.
Oh, look, there's a house on Dead Baby Alley that just came
Oh god.
Okay, so who on the Teen Wolf set would have made the best alpha?
She's gonna say her.
Are you talking about, what do you mean by that?
Cast and crew,
Yeah,
everyone.
yeah.
The best alpha, does that mean like the bossiest person, or do you mean like the one that would be the kindest? Like, are we talking like a Deucalion alpha or a Derek alpha or a Scott alpha, or why are the alphas all dudes? Like,
Collie's an alpha.
yeah, she gets to kill.
Whatever you think best means.
Yeah.
Well, Russell would be insane, an insane choice. That would be just chaos. That would be a chaos of.
He'd be the best hilarious. Because if Russell was the alpha, it would just be like story time all the time.
Yeah.
He has the best stories. So you would just like all the pack would just sit around the campfire and
You'd just be bringing him coffee.
yeah, you bring him a coffee and he'd tell you an amazing story. It would be,
Is it the kind of story where like lightning would flash in the background when he like gets to a really good point?
All of Russell's
I
stories.
feel like less lightning and more like disco balls would drop.
Oh,
And like club lights would start flashing.
Yeah.
That's,
Oh my
that's-
God.
I like that.
yeah, that's why, I think
Yeah.
Russell would be a great choice.
it'd be
make an
it'd be a
alpha.
super fun choice. Melissa would be a safe choice because she's just as a person, she's like just like calm, cool, like cares about people person. If you're gonna give anyone power, give it to her. Don't give it to me.
She's super capable.
She's super capable, smart. Yeah, I'm gonna go with Melissa Ponzio. I normally wouldn't choose an actor, but if we're gonna choose an actor, I would choose Melissa for sure. There's a lot of people I would not choose.
Go on.
I would make a terrible alpha because I'm just such a misanthrope. I'd be like, get away from me, get out of my path. You fucking jerk.
You're a Derek in that way.
I was just gonna say, I mean,
Yeah.
we had one of those on the show. So
That's true.
Yeah.
a misanthropic lycanthrope.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, we had an alpha in Jeff, like he basically was the boss. He was the boss man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we did his bidding sometimes,
So you guys mentioned some changes from your original script to what we saw on screen, but do you recall any scenes that had to be cut from the original draft of your episode?
I think we
mentioned the library one.
yeah. Like that didn't necessarily get cut, it just got changed into different things. But one
It
thing
was
that
longer before.
yeah, another thing that happened was there was originally a scene where there's a music teacher who's in the room alone and hears weird things from the Duroc and ends up getting killed by a piano.
No, it was super cool.
It was wacky,
But it would have been really expensive to do and not very, but
and it was kind of veering into magical. Like
Yeah.
How is this how is the piano being controlled and how is stuff happening?
so it was like all the different instruments started playing and they could hear it all. He could hear it all. And then he like goes over to the piano that's like playing and the chords break and slash him and then slash his throat.
I think it starts off with Danny was like teaching him how to use. Danny was teaching him how to use a recording thing. He's like, oh yeah, I'll use this recording thing. Then he starts recording,
And
the
Danny
instruments go
leaves,
Danny
yeah.
leaves. The instruments go crazy, kill him, and then they
And-
hear that recording.
And then
later.
Lydia and Styles come in and listen to the recording and they can't hear anything.
Yeah.
So,
Oh.
and
That's
Styles
cool.
was in music class because it was originally, Lydia did have that moment and that's when they find, and the teacher's missing, and that's when they find the recording thing.
Yeah.
So there was still that moment, but it used to be Styles in music class, but then I think that we were like, I don't think Styles is in music class, and then
And also it was like, you have to hire another actor to play a music teacher.
Yeah.
So who's
yeah,
this random person?
it's just one of those production things that got changed. I think it worked really well to how it is. I actually really like that scene,
The ba, 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 ba music. Yeah, it's great. I like
the editing.
that it was changed.
That
I mean,
piece
the
of-
editing was perfect.
No, yes, but that's not what I'm talking about. The piece of music that is at the beginning of that scene is an actual, it's something Laura found. I think it was Icelandic, and it's super weird, and it's just and it's a great song. It's a song, and it just worked perfectly in that. And I love that we got to use such strange
Yeah.
music sometimes, you know, something completely different that you wouldn't hear, you know, on a CW show.
Absolutely.
Yeah, definitely.
I thought
Definitely.
it gave Lydia a nice moment too with the drawing. That
Right. Yeah. Starting to set that up. Yeah.
getting
Yeah.
her powers and
Yeah, because we discover her like in like later in this season, right?
Yeah. At the very end. Yeah.
So yeah, it was fun. That was always a fun thing. Oh, I should mention, I'm gonna go back for a second, a thing in the Teen Wolf movie that I was thinking about. I would love to see what's happened with Lydia, because Lydia was always one of my favorite characters. And I always like kind of saw where she would go. I don't think Jeff and I agreed, but as an adult, and just sort of what her powers could lead her to, and what she could do with something like that, and how powerful she could be. So
yeah, I feel like every season there was this talk of like women finding their power this season.
Who else mentioned that to us?
Angela.
Yeah, I think it was
Yeah.
Angela.
Well, I mean, maybe it's a theme. Who knows?
Nice.
I think did we leave it in there? I think we did.
God, I don't remember at this point.
Did you leave it in there because she just said it was about women finding their power and they never found it? Is that what you left in? They did kind of. It just never became the focus
Focus,
that maybe Angela and I wanted it to be.
And others
Yeah, but Angela and I, who
were
there
around longer.
a long time.
Gotcha. Wholly unrelated. I ran across the video y'all made of Mersenne the other day,
Okay.
and I just wanted to thank y'all for bringing my beautiful angel into my life. I showed it to my mom, and she thought it was amazing. So
You're
You're
welcome.
very welcome. So funny about that, how she actually, because that was that through Mutt Scouts that we got? So we had rescued a dog off the streets, and while we were in the vet getting the dog checked out, a woman approached us to sort of help us out. Not that we were incapable, but she had like some extra
We
connections.
were on our way to a Teen Wolf party.
We were actually on our way to a Teen Wolf party. She's like, oh, okay, I'll take over. And we got the dog back, ended up getting it adopted out to
Tim Andrews.
Tim Andrew, the director of
nice,
Fang.
nice.
now known as Fang. And so, that was,
little white fluffy dog.
we thought that was like the end of it, nice little thing,
That's awesome.
The bloody
Uh,
coward.
and then like a year later, maybe longer, it feels like the woman who helped us contacted us and she said, oh, I have this cat, I did you a favor. Could you do us a favor?
Well, there was some woman who had a cat, couldn't afford the surgery for the
Yeah.
broken leg. And that is how we ended up with Mersenne.
So that was Mersenne.
So we got Mersenne with the broken leg and took her, and she lived in a not a cage,
In
but
this room
in this room in a
with all the dead dolls.
no, it
and
was like a
babies.
bigger dog crate.
Is that why she's so neurotic?
Yes.
Oh my God.
She lived in a dog crate because she couldn't move that much after having her leg fixed.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
we had to keep her. She was not happy about being caged up. So
Yeah.
But yeah, so it all comes around.
Yeah. Well, I was telling I think both Kate and Calissa that I just remember I came into your bay one day and I was like, Alyssa, I think I'm ready for a cat. And you were like, I've got your cat right here. And that was it. I went and saw her and I took her home and we have not looked back at all. Although she has what I've called poop zoomies, that every time she poops, she runs around like a crazy person, and it is ridiculous. Like she goes insane for like 5 whole
Liar.
days.
She's lighter. She feels free. Yeah.
I guess I don't know what it is, but it's. I mean,
a
I
weight
love
hasn't
her.
been lifted. A weight has been dropped.
There you go.
We have experienced that because he'll be like, sorry guys, as you can see, Mersenne has poop zoomies, so we're just gonna have to wait.
We gotta
till
wait a
she's
second.
done.
Oh, that's amazing.
We call it WUBS, which is wild hair up butt syndrome, but this is like wild hair not up butt syndrome. So that's
Released from butt syndrome.
Yeah.
I'm really glad that you guys bonded immediately because she was such a weird cat. I figured we'd end up having her forever.
Yeah.
So I'm
She's
glad
still a weird cat.
a weirdo
Yeah.
found a weirdo
Yeah.
and it worked out.
Yeah,
He's a very proud cat dad.
I
Yeah.
am.
Yes.
She's stuck with me forever, no matter what she wants. So it's just the
Hooray.
way it is.
Hooray.
Okay. If you could be any Teen Wolf creature, what would you be?
Oh fuck.
I'd be a were-coyote. Malia doesn't give a fuck. She's just hanging out.
That's
whatever.
true.
Accurate.
You can be with the pack, but you're fine on your own. It's good. I'll be a were-coyote. Tiptoe around.
Well, hold on. Like what all the creatures do we have eventually?
There are
werewolves,
Canimas, Banshees,
Wendigos,
Skinwalkers,
beasts.
Kitsune.
the kitsune is cool.
Yeah.
You're not really my culture, but like it's still cool. Like you get electricity and stuff. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Like the sword stuff that we gave her, that was cool. Kitsune's up there for sure. A banshee really is sort of in my whole goth you know.
You're a loudmouth, that's for sure.
Gonna be a no mouth in a second.
She's
Um,
predicting a death is coming soon.
Yes,
Yes.
That's good. Yeah, I would go with kitsune. Maybe I'd be the nuggetsune.
Oh, there you
Ooh.
go.
Do you,
Avoid
always have to
Alyssa.
you always have to walk around all bandaged up though?
I
Yeah,
think that was
All the
just
time.
that Nogitsune,
Yeah.
right?
that's true. That's true.
Yeah.
That was that no Gitsune.
It was specific to his backstory.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, our werewolves aren't so bad because they can like change pretty quickly by the
Mhm.
time we got into it. You know,
Yeah.
there wasn't a lot of like tearing your clothes.
Yeah.
And when did we get rid of loping? Was it season 3?
Yeah.
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 So you don't have to lope anymore.
Just run.
That was a theory in practice. kind of.
Oh boy. I still give Russell shit about that sometimes. Yeah, I think so. What about you guys?
I
Werewolf.
think being a banshee would be dope,
Nice.
but I'm also a fan of werewolf, so
Yeah. Our
Think-
werewolf, for sure.
I think we're a coyote because yeah, she got to do the full shift, and I think that would have been really fun.
That's true.
Derek got to full shift into
He did, but it
werewolf.
took a while, and it's not standard practice that they get to.
No.
Yeah.
He did die first.
You have to die first, and it seems like you have to have a bigger budget.
Yeah.
Depends on where you are with your finances.
So if I'm like a wealth wolf, then that would maybe be like my 401k is doing really well. I think I'm gonna go for the full shift this year.
Yes,
you
I
guys.
think-
Nice.
The werewolf of Wall Street.
There you go.
Exactly.
Yes.
Yes. I'm gonna put a down payment on a full shift. It's
Yeah.
gonna be worth it.
Yeah.
So if you guys could have put any storyline in the Teen Wolf original run of the show, what would it have been?
I mean, there's so much story already. It's, it's bonkers. But I think one thing that I always really like, I always like the sort of goofier side of things. And I thought it would always be fun to do an episode about Greenberg, where like everything revolves, like we never see, the joke is you never see Greenberg, but it was just like this sort of like, where's Greenberg episode, and like all these things are happening because of Greenberg, and it's sort of like all resolved. And, I don't know how you could ever do that, but like the dream was always to throw Greenberg in as much as possible.
You
and
never see him.
you never see him, and you still know nothing about Greenberg by the end.
Maybe it could be shot first person and it would be like being John Greenberg
Right.
There you
And
go.
everyone would have their chance to beat Greenberg.
That would be really good, actually, if you go
Yeah.
POV and you never see him.
Yeah.
And you think you're gonna see him in the mirror at the end, but then like Styles like somehow fucks that up, you know, like you never,
He flails and breaks the mirror, and it's like,
Yeah.
oh, we'll never know.
no.
you're never gonna get to see Greenberg. That would have been really fun.
Yeah, that would have been good.
I mean, I'm sure that there's some storylines that were discarded along the way. If we have pictures of the old boards,
Oh, yeah.
you know, that just never got to happen. But you know, the cool thing about the show is that like I pitched what would happen before I was ever writing on the show, like season 1 or 2. I think the people were talking about a lunar eclipse, and I said to Jeff, I wonder what happens to werewolves during a lunar eclipse. Do they lose all their powers? And he's like, oh, that's a cool idea. And you know, it didn't happen that season. And then when it happened, you know, after I got to write on the show. So, you know, like those ideas that just like come across when you're thinking about story. And I was editing at the time, but you know, it's on my mind all the time. You know, you got to see those come about. Yeah, it's hard. I mean, I have the controversial opinion that I wanted to finish Danny's story. I wanted to kill him in a fun way.
Oh,
You can't kill Danny.
America's sweetheart, Danny.
Exactly.
I know, but I wanted to give him a good ending, like a good death, like a fun death. Like, you know, we finally know
A
what happened to
heroic-
Danny, a heroic
Big heroic.
death. I'm dead. He's her hero and he dies heroically.
Danny Mahilani's a national treasure. That would just never work.
Well, you see, it didn't happen. I wanted to do it.
There were a lot of very controversial deaths on Teen Wolf, so you know, you never know.
Who's the
That might have
most
been the most-
controversial?
I feel like I was reading about Boyd's death on Tumblr a lot after it happened.
No, I mean, for sure, that was a situation where, yeah, it's like not up to us to figure that out. You know, that was one of those things of like when you're dealing with contracts and who wants to come back and who
That's
who doesn't.
a production reality death.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So it's
Yeah.
like, you know, there are ways to handle it where like, do we just write the character out or do we finish the character off? You know what I mean?
Yeah, that was a bummer. I mean, I don't think any of us wanted to kill off Boyd. In many ways, we did not want to kill off Boyd,
Yeah.
the character, at all.
Yeah, and that, I mean, like as we said earlier, you know, when we were originally our first draft, like they were still alive, they were still around, they were still, or, I mean, I guess Boyd still is in our episode, but yeah, it's like
He doesn't die till later, but yeah. Yeah, I don't think we had any intention of killing off Erica or Boyd, at least at first. I would have gladly, much more likely have killed off Erica than Boyd anyhow if I had a choice, but just that character-wise.
yeah, not everything that happens in a TV show is because the writers want it to happen and plan it that way.
Yeah.
For sure. And sometimes people live longer for reasons just because they are delightful.
Yeah.
You know, like characters that you're like, oh, we should kill. Oh,
Well, Megan Tandy is a perfect example of
Yes.
someone who is just a nothing character, and everyone, not a nothing character, but you know, she was just sort of like this little.
she was just called the girl.
She was the girl.
Yeah, she was the girl.
And
I think I told you guys this before. Like I walked into the room, we were eating lunch and I walked in and saw her. And I hadn't heard that she was coming back. Because once again, if you don't ask questions, and I was like, I thought we killed you. That's the first, Megan, who has become a good friend of mine.
Yeah.
I think that's the first thing I ever said to her. It was like, I thought we killed you.
He's like, I thought you did too, but
she's so great.
Surprise, I'm back.
yeah.
She's the best. And that was, she still totally remembers that. She's like, I was like, what?
Like, wait, did was there a miscommunication? Am I not supposed to be here? Like,
Well, you know, and I was just being like, I mean, I forget that, you know, the actors are people, I guess. I was just like, I don't know. I was very happy to have her back.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, you know, it's like, this isn't Teen Wolf, but, you know, I helped get JR cast on the 100 I mean, his talent got him cast, but I had put his name up and talked him up. And he was supposed to come in season 6, and he was like our big bad season 6, and he was supposed to die. But let me tell you, everybody loved JR. And so we managed to figure out a way in, like a body swapping weird way thing we were doing on the 100 at that point to bring him back for season 7, which was awesome because, having him around is amazing. And we all loved it, so sometimes those kind of things happen too. But yeah.
Yeah.
Sometimes it goes the other way, the person you cast doesn't maybe pull off what you want them to, but I think
But
more often
sometimes-
than not, you're surprised by something like, you only see them in a casting tape and they can only do so much with like the 20 lines that they're doing. And when they get around other people, you sort of like get them working, they get a little relaxed. There's some pretty talented people out there who earn their way up by just being amazing.
Oh yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Megan Tandy being one of
Megan
them.
Tandy being a great example.
Absolutely. This isn't. I'm sorry.
I just said she's incredible.
Yeah, she's great. She's really good. This isn't really a question. I just wanted to thank Jessica for being involved in the Overwatch and Call of Duty franchises that I like very much.
You're very welcome. If you like the God of War franchise, I'll be
Oh yes.
God of War Ragnarok, the new one coming out as well. So you can look forward to that.
Nice.
Have you played the new Call of Duty? Well,
Yeah, I have.
have you played?
Wait,
just-
what do you mean? Like, do you mean like Warzone or Vanguard? Because they're kind of like doing the splintering stuff. Yeah, I have. Mhm, yeah.
Have you played his character
Mhm.
yet? Play his character because we don't have a new PS5,
Okay.
so we haven't been able to play it yet. So go
Gotcha.
play the German.
All right. I will definitely do that. I've got it on
Like he's
PC, so
Belgian.
I'll do that.
He's
Yeah.
Belgian? I thought you're a Belgian.
I think he's technically Belgian. I can't remember.
Nice. Very nice. Well, that first God of War remake or redo was fantastic, so I'm very excited for the new one. So
Yeah, no, I loved it. It's one of my favorites for sure.
really good.
It's been a lot of fun.
Let's hope this one isn't fucked up. It won't be. I'm sure you're probably will.
So what kind of things did you guys have to take into consideration when you were writing the episode? Like when it comes to like location, budget, were you able to pick
Thanks.
scenes? Like were you able to pick where like scenes where you want them to be set, or did they tell you these are the locations we'll have? Like, how'd that work?
First of all, there's a cat coughing up a hairball right behind the door.
Can you hear it?
I don't hear it.
I
I
heard
do.
it. Yep. hmm
So we're gonna go out to find a hairball. That's happening right there. Kitty Pride.
That sounds like Freeway to me.
Is that Freeway? Anyway,
Go help
Yeah.
Freeway Jones.
Freeway Jones.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, budget was everything on this show. Like, I don't know if was it this season? What's the season where Isaac has to be? He like freaks out. Was that episode 1 or 2 or 3?
Oh, where he's in the closet?
No, that's ours.
Yeah. That's,
There was something where Isaac's freaking out and they have to like I had a whole scene where they had to throw him in the shower and like in a bathtub, and then he had a wet Isaac, which is always good. And and we couldn't afford to build a bathroom set. So that got changed. I can't remember what it got changed to because I haven't seen this season in a long time. We watched our episode, but so I can't remember exactly in place where it is, what it got changed to. I mean, he still freaks out, but they do something else. But I mean,
There's like the standing
Oh,
sets.
was
We
it
had
in
the high
Motel
school set.
California?
no, it's not Motel California. That
Okay.
no, that was a different. It was something.
That was a different freak out.
Yeah, and he's not in the bathtub in that one, isn't it? Boyd in
It's
the bathtub?
Boyd, yeah,
Mhm.
like,
with the safe.
Yeah, that's right. But we had a couple, like every season we build like one big set, and I think this season we had the vault, right? Will, is that right? Is that the
Yeah,
bank vault?
the bank vault at the beginning. Yeah, and it comes back later on. Yeah.
And then we turned it into the sheriff's station the next season, I think, right? Or the end of this season or something.
Oh no, I think it became didn't that turn into the library?
No,
Didn't we use?
no, the vault got turned into the sheriff's station. The same marble, you see the same marble columns and stuff. It
Oh,
needs to-
right. Yeah.
So we didn't have like, I think there was one thing we wrote where there at the beginning, and if you look at the outline of this episode, at the beginning, there's a it's the kid and his girlfriend, and they're
Mhm.
coming to get a rescue dog at the vet. And they're driving in the car and stuff, talking about it. And like that, just adding a car in a driving scene is expensive. So even by the time we got to script, we had changed that, just for sometimes it's for just artistic purposes, but sometimes it's for production purposes.
And then it became not, the guy and the girlfriend, then it was just like the guy and Deaton and Scott. Because then you're like, let's have our main characters.
And sometimes for scheduling purposes, fewer characters in scenes, it's easier to shoot, and also sometimes it's easier to schedule. If an actor's not going to be there that day, you don't bring them in, or if they, all those things change. And the reality of Teen Wolf was we had a very low budget. This was a show that looked great. Anyone who ever says like the show had cheesy, set design or effects, which for the most part it didn't, particularly at the time.
No.
I still think this show looks fantastic for the budget we had.
Every single dollar is on the screen.
Yeah, amazing
yeah.
talent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Put that together.
Yeah.
I like how you couldn't get out the word budget without laughing when talking about the Teen Wolf budget.
It was very tight. And yeah, so everything's around, as you see, like everything's around the school. They did do a couple day outs, but they had planned that with like, not just this episode. They went to Palisades High. It wouldn't just be one episode. We'd block shoot a few different scenes from, the season, because it's expensive to rent out the high school. So,
And same with like the running scenes out in the the cross country scenes. They're not just shooting those scenes then, what they'll do that like during the day, and at night they'll do some wood scenes for some other episode and stuff.
yeah, or even luckily this episode had day and night out there.
It's true.
But I remember watching it again last night. Like there's the werewolf fight, kind of. There's going to be a fight, and then there's a scream, and then they're just they like run up. I was like, that feels like we missed like a big, like a running up. It feels very shortened, and I don't like it as an editor or a writer. And I remember how much we were running out of light so hard that when Stiles and Isaac and Scott are all standing there having the things are happening in the background, and the three of them are standing there, I remember that was basically almost night. There was like a bounce board trying to get as much light, and what we had to do in color to turn it up to make it look like it was still afternoon. I mean, it was at the very edge. So, those are the kind of things that you're dealing with all the time too. It's just like we pack so much into these stories that the episodes were always too long. And we always were having to cut stuff out and cut stuff down. And yeah.
If you read through an outline, you'd be like, there's no way we could get all this in an episode. And then you would. And
yeah,
it was
but that teaser was so long, even in the outline, and it got cut way down.
Yeah.
It had to be.
for sure.
For sure.
Nice.
Other than the Derek Hale shirt, did either of you get any fun souvenirs from the show?
We do.
Well, I have a couple Styles sweatshirts. I've given one to Brooke from the Not Another Teen Wolf podcast.
Yeah.
We have a couple of bullet collars.
Oh,
Aw.
nice.
Wow.
That's awesome.
I'm not sure why we have two of them. I guess we could.
A stunt. You have a stunt. You always have a backup.
Yeah. Well, I know that, but why do we have two of them?
So you can match, right?
So you match, yeah.
And then
And Jessica had written a joke at the beginning of this season, and so when
it's like when they're in the tattoo shop and they're like flipping through things, and Styles finds a picture of a lizard man. He's like, too soon.
so that was Jessica's
So,
joke in
I
the room.
pitched that joke, so I have the.
Oh,
That is so fun.
Oh, I'm
Very
so
cool.
jealous. That's so great.
So that's a fun one. We like at the end of a season they have they like sell off some of the not props. Well, yeah,
Clothes.
some of the clothes and some other stuff. I think we got a computer out of it.
Oh, well, yeah, but that's not that was just they had computers
Yeah.
that they needed to sell, and we got a computer, and it's old and now it needs to be replaced, but
Yeah.
it has really done me well. Yeah, I think the only thing I ever got clothes wise for myself, besides I think I got a Scott, as I said, I dress like a boy in Beacon Hill, so a couple but like hoodies that I liked. But I couldn't fit into any of the women's clothes except Crystal had my size of shoe. So I think I ended up with a couple of her pairs of boots. But the thing
Nice.
about these clothes, unlike Servant, which I mean, the clothes budget must be $1 million on that show. I'm not kidding. Like the kind of clothes that they buy for those rich people. This, once again, this show was on a budget. So those are like Old Navy. And I mean, clearly Barbara made a lot of the cooler, the Duroc outfit and everything else. But when they had to like go shopping, these kids weren't dressing in fancy stuff. They were getting their stuff like the rest of us at Old Navy and everything
Yeah.
else. So, it wasn't like we were scoring Louboutins or anything. We were scoring stuff, from Ross, which was cool.
Yeah. When we had her on, she talked about that. She was like, we love Target because we can go there and buy
Oh yeah.
all the versions of, we can buy like all the stunt versions and all the everything we need. We can get one shirt 9 times and it won't kill us.
Yeah, I
know,
think-
and so-
I think I had one of the sweatshirts I think was like the Massimo like hoodie.
Yeah, I think I got this in like 2 other colors at the same time.
nice. Nice.
Yeah, but that's the world of, and frankly it gives a sense of verisimilitude.
Yeah.
Got it right the first time.
Nice.
Because like that's the reality for most teenagers.
No, it's great. That's
Awesome.
fantastic. So are there any upcoming projects y'all can tell us about?
I mean, the God of War Ragnarok will be one for you to look forward to.
Oh, yes.
I think I'm done with everything. Sometimes they call you back in to do some more pickups and stuff, but I think I'm done with everything on that one.
Nice.
My season of Servant is airing right now. I don't know when this comes out. When you guys, what's your timeline for this?
This one will probably be, I don't know, 5-6 weeks from now, something like that.
So probably my second episode of Servant will be airing right around then, because I did
Nice.
episode 3, which airs Friday, and episode 8, which will air in 5 weeks from that. And then next season 4 won't happen for another year.
Oh,
I
wow.
mean, that show is slow. It's once a year. Knight likes to make several movies in between seasons of or while we're writing this season.
Yeah.
Other than that, it's a lot of things that might happen.
Nice.
I'm pitching. I've got this fantastic book series called the Kingston Cycle, written by C.L. Polk. The first book being Witchbark, which
Nice.
we're pitching around town, which I think they're really fun books if you've never read them. We just pitched that to Shondaland. So we'll see if anything happens with that. But it's all clouds in the sky. It's all wisps of air that maybe will form into something and maybe it will not. We don't know,
Yep.
I have another thing with a comic book company, IDW. There's a horror comic called Mountainhead that we're trying
Nice.
to finish the contract on to develop that into a pitch.
Nice.
But once again, it's a pitch and
Yep.
it will live in that world for a while. And then we have as I said, the script we wrote a long time ago that I then changed into a pilot is I'm meeting with a producer tomorrow. And that's exciting. That's like nothing that dies is ever dead
Yeah.
in this town. I mean,
Nice.
we talked about it.
Except for Mr. Harris.
Except for back.
Bringing it back.
Ain't coming
Nice.
back. So yeah, that's kind of what's going on right now.
Nice. Very nice. Was that feature you turned into a pilot? Was that Dark Harbor? Because I read that, I think, a few years back.
On Darker Shores.
Or
No.
yes. Sorry.
No, that was always just a pilot. that I
Okay.
wrote. the feature is called Hair of the Dog, and it's completely different than our kind of normal thing. It's
Nice.
sort of a every which way but loose sort of feel. It's a modern, but it's like bounty hunters and biker gangs and lots of fist fights, and you know, it's silly and fun action adventure with kind of hard-boiled fun characters. One of them whose name's Steak, the other one named the Battle Axe. You know,
Nice.
I'll
Oh,
have
that sounds awesome.
it
Yeah,
is
sounds
really
really cool.
fun. I think it would be a great thing to do, and this producer got really excited about it.
It has,
And I was like, go with whatever god you want to go with,
Yeah.
if you want, because like we've had this sitting around for a long time.
that script has some of my favorite lines that we've ever written.
Yeah.
So it's, you know, whether it ever makes it on screen, it always has a place in my heart as just being this wonderful.
Almost as good as the line. And it's funny, we read the outline, and we didn't do a lot of dialogue in the outline, but we read the outline for this episode, and that line of Coach is like, he was probably some homeless guy or whatever, just terrible. And then
He's a senior.
he's a senior, and he's like, "Wasn't on the team, was he?" I mean,
Yeah,
that
yeah.
line, I don't remember who, I don't remember if it was one of us or who said that in the room, but that line made it all the way through outline into the script, like solid. Like that terrible Coach moment was, I still think that's one of the best lines.
Orny has some of the greatest lines on the show for sure.
Really.
He does.
But
So
yeah,
fun.
so that's what's going on with all that.
Well, that's awesome. That's
Yeah,
awesome.
that's all right.
Yeah.
Right,
Well,
man.
well, thank y'all for joining us. Alyssa joining us again, Jessica joining us for the first time. We have really enjoyed it, and we really appreciate y'all talking to us about Teen Wolf, this show that we all love so much, and it's kind of touched us all. So thank you very much for sitting down with us.
Did
Yes,
it
thank
touch
you
you-
so
Did it
much.
touch you in the did it touch you in the bad places, or
No.
I
No,
knew you were gonna make that joke. I could feel it.
in my heart places
in your heart places? Okay.
and in my eye tier places sometimes.
Everybody has their own experiences.
Thank you for having us. It was pretty fun
Yeah.
walking.
Oh, just
back-
pretty fun. Okay.
Yeah, walking the halls of Beacon Hills High again.